You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is Sunday morning, a little bit later than I anticipated doing one of these, but I had to get the laundry going. The lifestyle of a world-famous podcaster is very similar to yours, I'm sure. Laundry, coffee, maybe do the dish from dinner last night, and then talk to you folks. So here we are. Happy Sunday morning. Let's get started. And the title I came up with while I was washing the dish and the fork, the knife, and the spoon, and looking out the window, and I saw my reflection. It was terrifying, but the title is The Reason is in the Mirror. And I thought about this yesterday. I was working on a project here at the house, kind of a frustrating one. I burned up an entire afternoon, and it wasn't for anything other than just fixing an issue with the house. And I did not intend to have to do that. It wasn't even caused by me, but I had to get it fixed. It was really bothering me. So most of it is done after hours and hours of getting after it. And I was just sitting there, and there were moments when I was working on this project that I was so pissed. Like, how could somebody leave something like this and not make it top priority to fix? Why am I waiting weeks for this shit to happen? And then it came to me. I am expecting everyone else to act like me. And I've fallen into this trap before, and it's cost me. But I'm expecting people to act like me, make decisions like me on the time frame that I would make them, and mirror my reactions. And I think that's completely fair, and I think everybody should do that. I would have a much easier life if everybody would do things the way I do. However, life isn't supposed to be easy or fair, right? So then I think, all right, how many minutes of the day am I spending frustrated or upset or stuck because I'm in the wrong frame of mind? You know, you're behind somebody driving 25 in a 25, and it's frustrating as hell, and they're not paying attention. You can clearly see that they're not as good a driver as you. They're not using their blinkers appropriately. They're not even paying attention. They pulled right out in front of you to go 25. In a 25, nobody does that except for if they're in front of me. Well, that's not true. The whole point is that person's living their life, doing their thing, don't even know me. I'm nobody to them. Nobody behind them is anybody to them. They're doing their thing. They're going to their appointment. They're going to the coffee shop. They're doing whatever they're supposed to be doing. At that moment, it just happens to be in my space, and they're not doing it how I would. Now, some of this stuff is learned behavior, taught behavior, and some of it's genetically coded. You want to be in front. You want to be the first car. I mean, there's something to be said for being first. It's a drive. I don't know why it is, but to be in front. I know there's nobody going to mess up and have a crash in front of me if I'm out there in front. All the accidents can happen behind me if they just get out of the way. It's not speed that kills, it's bad driving. Well, that doesn't matter. That's just what I think. There's other people that think, oh my God, who would go 27 in a 25? That's crazy. That's how people get hurt. Completely disagree. Doesn't matter. Center of the universe-itis, which I talk about in The Thawing Man, is a real thing. And it's insidious. It continues to creep back in. You can get outside yourself and do all the right things and all the meditation and read all the good books and listen to all the good music and podcasts and still become the center of the universe again. That's not a good place to be. That's not where we belong. We're part of the galaxy. We're part of the universe. We're part of all this bigger stuff. We just have to realize that we're not the center of it. We're just orbiting the center, whatever that may be. Another example, I was at the grocery store. I try to go early in the morning because that's when it's least busy. Sometimes you get stuck after work, but if you go early morning Sunday and you're up and at 'em, go do it. It's easy. You can get in and out, get your stuff, and get home and get on with your day. Sometimes the grocery store, if I'm in the right mood, is your social time too, though. Well, this particular morning, I wasn't social. It was time to get shit done, get my stuff, and get home. Was I on a timeline? No. In my mind, I was. I always am in my mind. But was I really? No. Not sure how many of you other listeners do this, but I make my list based on the path I'm going to take through the grocery store. I don't write, Tums on one line and then the next line bananas because they're on totally different opposite ends of the store. Well, that's not very efficient. I make my circle. I go up and down the aisles I need to, and by the time I'm done, I've taken the fewest amount of steps, most efficient route, and I'm out. Well, another piece of my psychosis is noticing and observing patterns as they form. So if I go at a certain time of day on the weekend, depending on Saturday or Sunday, this particular grocery store has self-checkout on both ends of the store, big store. Well, if you go too early, the side that you park on, which is the grocery store side, those self-check registers are down. They're counting the tills and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing because no moron is there shopping except for me. So then you got to walk to the other end, check out, and come all the way back. So I try to be cognizant of what time it is, what day it is, watch the patterns, right? So again, this is one of those early mornings. I should be clear. My pattern watching has proved to be effective. Park in the right spot, mark out my path based on the pattern, and go down to the right-hand side where the medicines and the vitamins are, and I need to upload some vitamins. And there is literally one person in the whole store. Gotta be. There may have been some staff, obviously, but one shopper, and this woman is in the aisle with the vitamins. And her cart's in the middle. She's standing there doing the same thing I do when you're looking for the proper one because you know how stores move stuff around. And, I'm not tiptoeing. I'm not sneaking up on her. But I kind of walk up and thinking, okay, what I would do, because I've done that. You park real quick. Your cart's in the middle. Nobody else is around. You park your cart. You look for your stuff, put it in, and move. And then, oh, shit, somebody's right behind me. Hey, sorry. Good morning, all the stuff. And I kind of ease up to this person, and she sees me and goes back to her thing. I'm like, this isn't happening. And I say, oh, excuse me. And she's like, I'll just be a minute. Oh, what? You'll just be a minute. All you got to do is move your fucking cart just a little bit, and I can get by and be on with my day. Nope. And I was mad. I was angry. I'm like, wait a minute. This isn't fair. This isn't right. Well, to her it was. She was doing her thing. She was there first, and in her mind, she was right. In my mind, she was wrong. So who was frustrated? Me, not her. She didn't give a shit. She was doing her thing, and I'll get around her if I wait or if I don't. So I backed up, turned around, went around the whole other aisle, came up, got my one little thing of vitamin D, and no kidding, and I know this was intentional. Now you can tell because when somebody looks at you and says, I'm in charge. As soon as I put it in the cart and turned around, she moved her cart. She's like, I'll show you. And at that point, it turned from anger to laughter. I'm like, whatever. You're old and ugly, and I'm just ugly. So, yeah, I got you beat. But that's the whole thing. Why was I pissed? Because they wouldn't do the things the way I did. They didn't do the things that I would do. If someone else was coming along, you try to be polite and considerate because you're not always paying attention. You're not assuming what other people are doing is the same as you. It's frustrating. That's the point of frustration. We assign value to things based on how we see them. So, for instance, time. You send a quick text to someone hoping for a quick response or just an acknowledgement and nothing. And then a couple days later you get, oh my God, I'm just so busy. Well, They probably are. To them, they are. Your text was not as valuable to them as it was to you. That's okay. It doesn't matter. Your time is valuable to you. Their time is valuable to them. And they don't always intersect. Those values don't always equal. The equation isn't always balanced. I used to get really upset, and then I started watching my own behavior, and I'd get a text. I'm like, oh my God, I got to respond to that. That's an important one. But you're on the phone or you're at work or whatever you're doing that's important at the moment, and then you forget. You don't mean to, because it is important, and you do value that response that you need to give because it was a nice text to receive, or it was a reach out for help or whatever it was, and you did intend to respond, but you don't. I've had that happen. I've done it. Both sides. That equation, that one probably balances, but it's not intentional. You know, your friends don't mean to say, piss off, I'm not going to text you back. They're like, oh my God, this deserves some time. I'll do it when I have a few more minutes. Because some of them are. They are deep text or they're important messages, and you don't want to just say, put a thumb on it or a heart on it or a smiley face or a cry face or whatever the emoji is. You want to take some time and be kind and respond properly. And then you forget, and then you feel even worse. Now you have to look at that mirror in a different way, because are you responding like they would? Are you responding how they expect you to respond or how they would do it themselves? No, because you're all different. We're all individuals. We all do things differently. Even though we'd like to think that our way is the right way, sometimes it is. For me, it is always. It's easy for me. And of course, I'm lying 100% there. It's not easy. Because you want to try to think that you're doing things properly. And that's the nice part about human nature is most everybody is good. I like to believe that. I don't like to think people are bad. I don't like to look at somebody and say, well, how are they going to screw me? Usually those are the people that are already out to screw somebody else, is my experience. So it's nice to just look at somebody and say, okay, that lady at the grocery store, I don't know what her deal was. She might have been having a bad morning or, she was thinking about something else. I have no idea. It's none of my business. It's not mine to control. The reason for that frustration that morning wasn't her. It was the one looking at me in the mirror. So there we are. We are all different. We all have different expectations. We were all brought up differently. We're all wired differently. We all are on different medications, whatever. We're all different. We all do things differently. And the reason for most of our frustration, not all, there are things that are legit someone else is doing, and some of it could be intentional, but it doesn't matter. We have control over us. So when you look in that mirror, say, hey, yeah, I'm going to do my best to do things properly, the best I can to what I know and expect of myself, and then feel good at the end of the day that you did your best. Not every day is, I'm going to give 110%, which is impossible. Nobody says that or shouldn't. 100's the best, but you can't give 100% all the time. So here's what I'm asking of you. The reason for some of your frustration is in the mirror. Take a look. Just tell me what you see, and then think, okay, if I'm the reason for this, and they're the reason for their own, and we're responsible for our own stuff, maybe some of that frustration will go away. It's a tough exercise, and it needs to be practiced all the time, or you'll lose it. I have. There's no reason for me to be pissed off at somebody going 25 and a 25. They're doing their thing. They have no idea that I'm behind them. Doesn't matter. Let's have some of this frustration that everybody feels go away by just minding your deal, knowing that everybody else is doing their thing. We're doing ours. Give other people some grace, and most importantly, give yourself some. Life can be a challenge. Life can be a bugger sometimes, but it can also be really good. It's all about mindset, right? All right. Thanks for listening. I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great start to the week, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.